So, Kal Kadosh, Erev Tov. This shiur is Lilui Nishmat Meir Ben Awisha. Sheh Nishmatot Tzor B'Tzor Chaim. Amen. Yeah, we would like to kindly thank our sponsors, the Edergai family. They should have Arichut Yamim U'Shnot Chaim Tovim. I wanted to share with you an incredible shiur on a very interesting subject. It actually happened to me on Pesach, where I invited somebody over to my house, and all of a sudden they come and they brought me flowers, right? Other times, somebody came over to my house and they bring my wife a voucher for the, for the nails. Yeah. Another time, they bring you a perfume for the house. Yeah. Another time, they bring you a bottle of wine. Another time, they're going to bring you what? But the problem of the flowers is the problem, but the voucher was the problem. The voucher is not a problem? I don't know. You tell me. So the question is, why wouldn't it be mukseh? 1 minute. So the question is, is it permitted for me to give you something or not? Amram, professor, what do you say?
Yes.
I didn't say anything. I asked you the question. So that's already a fail.
You give him the honor.
Yeah. Professor, if you were in a class, you would fail it for some of that. Yeah. One more time, huh? He quit a long time in the class. He's still in the class. He's still there. Yeah. So one more time. Is it permitted or not? Permitted or not permitted? One more time. Somebody comes to my house. Well, I want you to tell me, is there a difference between Yom Tov? Is there a difference between Shabbat? Is it the same thing, Salamim Shos or not? I want you to tell me, I'm going right now to your house on Shabbat. I know that you needed a certain sefer. Can I buy you the sefer and bring it to you on Shabbat and give it to you as a present?
No.
Yeah, can I bring you, for example, a nice matzah cover? Right? A nice matzah cover. Yeah? Yes. Okay, Amichai is always saying yes for everything. That's good. Next one. Yeah? Is right? I told you, 1 second, but you told me yes only for 2 things so far. Yeah? You said the flowers was not good. Okay. Flowers, he said, I cannot bring you flowers. Yeah? If you don't want, no, I can't bring you flowers. Yeah? Is there a difference between Shabbat and Yom Tov?
Yes. No.
Okay, so yes, no, machloket. Very good. Leave it on the side. Next, right? We're going to speak about, yeah? Bar mitzvah boy. He comes to the Bet Knesset, and I want to give him a present. So, I don't know if you remember, we actually used to give presents. No, we won't give him an envelope, but we'll give him a book, a sefer. Are we allowed to do that on Shabbat? Give a bar mitzvah present to a bar mitzvah boy on Shabbat.
No, the concept of present on Shabbat.
So why? What?
The kinyan. If you cannot do kinyan on Shabbat.
Kinyan on Shabbat. What's the reason? What's the problem with the kinyan?
It's an iska.
No. It's an iska. Okay, very, very good. So basically, what we're going to speak about tonight, hopefully we have time to do 2 different parts. Again, the professor. Yeah, we're going to have 2 different parts of the shiur. Yeah, afterwards we could hear the professor with all his wisdom. Yeah,
we're talking about what you're saying.
Very good. Kol hakavod. So listen carefully. Very good. Yeah, fine. So what happens is as follows. We're going to, hopefully we could have 2 parts of the shiur. If not, then we might only have 1 part. The first part of the shiur is going to be giving presents on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Is there a difference between Shabbat and Yom Tov? Is there a difference in how I give the present? Is there a difference between food and non-food, non-perishables? Is there a difference between all these different things? Bli neder, we're going to speak about it. That's going to be the first part of the shiur. Second part of the shiur, if we have time only, time permitting, right, will be Shalom Aleichem that we say every single Friday night. Yeah. So there's going to be a question about the entire Shalom Aleichem. Why? Question number 1 to do with Shalom Aleichem is can we say Barechuni LeShalom? Barechuni LeShalom. Some people say Barechunu LeShalom, but it doesn't really change much. Are you supposed to say Barechunu LeShalom or Barechuni LeShalom? Why? I'm going to ask you a question. I want something from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Should I pray to an angel that he should deliver it to me? Or should I pray directly to HaKadosh Baruch Hu?
Directly.
Okay, so then what is the explanation then, Professor of Barechuni LeShalom? What's Barechuni LeShalom?
Just a second.
What's the barechuni l'shalom then? If you're gonna tell me
Angels that are accompanying you from the synagogue to your home.
that what?
So they are together and they're waiting for you to do what you're supposed to do. If everything is okay.
Let's say you're a tzaddik. You come home, she had the table already set. Your beds were already made and everything was perfect. So now what happens? The bad angel comes and he's going to say the good angel should come and say it should be the same next week. And the bad angel against his will is going to answer,
Amen.
Amen. What's that connection between that I'm going to ask the angel, bless me? What's bless me?
Yaakov.
What's Yaakov, doctor?
He has you don't believe
You don't need
to bless me.
So what does Rashi say immediately? What is that blessing?
The blessing that the next week should be.
No. But his case. The truth is that's the second shiur. But you already mentioned it, so I'm going to answer it. But what was Kim Berachtani? What was the beracha? What was you talking about? Where's the chumash? No, nobody. What's he asking from the angel?
He's asking from the angels to come back and bring the Shekhinah that we had the Shabbat for the next Shabbat.
In fact, it's the fight against the nation.
So therefore, continue.
The final and now it's going to be the shalom.
Rashi says you have to remember that when Rashi HaKadosh says something, it means that he has a question. And he was actually bothered with a question that John Paul asked me right now. When I asked everybody, I come and I tell everybody, should you ask an angel for a bracha? Everyone's going to answer me. Why are you asking for an angel? Go straight to God. So then John Paul says, Yaakov Avinu, says the pasuk, Vayomer shalecheni ki ala shachar. Says the angel, send me. Why? It's already alot shachar. If you remember, we spoke about this on Pesach. It came as time to bless, to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu this one time. And when was this? Pesach. Sometimes Malachim could have one time in their own creation that they're going to sing praises to Hashem. And on the night of Pesach, you remember what we said, Zohar HaKadosh, on the night of Pesach, the 3 watches, usually every single watch you have Malachim coming and praising Hashem. On the night of Pesach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells all the Malachim, talk. I want to hear what Bnei Yisrael are saying to us. Nothing to do with Shimurim. I want to hear what Bnei Yisrael are going to come and say about me. Leil Shimurim means he's protecting us. What does that have to do with we're praising him? Yeah, so what does that mean? I want to hear the praises about the Bnei Yisrael. Meaning, all of you Malachim, quiet. I don't want to hear anything. Who do I want to hear? Klal Yisrael on the night of Pesach. That is the thing. Huh? So therefore, right, the question now is going to be, what was he asking then? Right? I'm not going to send you Kim Berachtani until you're going to give me a bracha. Says Rashi, Hodali ala berachot sheberachani yavi she'esav me'arer alehen. Not like what the doctor said. The exact opposite. He comes and he says, you think Yaakov Avinu is going to ask a bracha from a malach? He's got Hashem. You know what he told the malach? He said to Saros shel Esav, you are going against my bracha. Yitzchak Avinu gave me a blessing. And you, Saros shel Esav, said, it's not a good blessing. It was stolen. I'm going to let you go. You know when I let you go? When you admit that those brachot that my father gave me are mine. When you admit that they're rightfully mine, I let you go. Says the pasuk, Vayomer lo Yaakov. Your name is not going to be anymore Yaakov. It's going to be Israel. Vayvarech oto sham. He gave him the beracha, and again that beracha was that now the berachot of his father are being fulfilled. So you cannot bring me a proof that Yaakov Avinu asked for a beracha from Malachim. So don't tell me now, right, that barechuni l'shalom, we're asking the angels to give us a beracha, and now you're telling me as if to say, one second, it already happened before Yaakov Avinu. So the truth is, who's the one that says this? The Gaon. The Gaon Mivilna took out barechuni l'shalom. Meaning in his version of Shalom Alechem, there's no barechuni l'shalom. Not barechuni or barechunu. but a chunu is just perfect. Yeah, it's just a plural. Nothing. He took it out. Yeah, we're going to speak about it. But that's the second part of the shiur. Let's go back to the first part of the shiur. I only started the first part of the shiur. 1 second.
Always to finish faster, but there is a reasoning.
Obviously. Let's see. So 1 minute. Fine. So we're going to start this shiur today. This shiur, by the way, is by a beautiful initiative that we're going to be giving out, Bezrat Hashem, the Sefarim of Kiddushat Shabbat from Rav Pinkus. That Rav Pinkus comes and he's going to explain to us the holiness of the Shabbat. And if you remember, we're on Seudah Shlishit already 2 or 3 times. We've spoken about the Kiddusha of the Shabbat. We've spoken about taking out Shabbat late, meaning not trying to rush out of the Shabbat. We've spoken about the Kiddusha of the Shabbat, that the person shouldn't get angry on the Shabbat, and about taking Shabbat in early. These shiurim are focused about Kiddushat Shabbat. So obviously now you understand why we're talking about whether it's going to be Shalom Aleichem, whether it's talking about everything to do with Shabbat. So this shiur, right, this is called Kiddushat Shabbat, Shabbat v'Shabbato. We're going to start on page 4, sorry. Yeah, everyone turn to page 4. Everybody has it? If you do not have, please share along with somebody else.
Where's the other one?
Yeah. So it starts as follows. Yeah, if you do not understand Hebrew, please give it to somebody else that will, or if not, then do me a favor, then take pictures. Yeah, and share. I apologize. I asked for, I think it was 11, but I didn't realize we were going to have more. Fine. So we're going to start. This page, by the way, is the Shulchan Aruch. And in the middle of the Shulchan Aruch, you have somebody that's called the Magen Avraham. So the Magen Avraham, just by the way, you should know that the Shulchan Aruch is Sfaradi. Right? And here, in this Shulchan Aruch, all the ones which are surrounding him are Ashkenazim. But remember, what's the center always? Yeah? Okay, fine. That's very important. Yeah? So you have the Shulchan Aruch in the center. And you have the Magen Avraham, right? That he's coming. And he's going to... You like that one, huh? Okay. So the Magen Avraham is going to come and he's going to say on the Shulchan Aruch. Tell him, Lishtot. Tell him. Okay, fine. So in the center, it's always the center. It's always, everyone's always around. He's always the center. Yeah, center of attention. Fine. So he says like this. Everybody has it by where on the right side you have a line. That line, right on the right side, is telling you where to focus on. Page 4. On the bottom right or the bottom left, you have the page numbers, and right on the bottom right to the bottom left, and you have. Right, the following. You have page 4, and you have on the top Orach Chaim, Siman Shin Vav. There it's talking about Medidah of Mitzvah. Yeah, and we're talking about also the minhag of to be posek tzedakah. Yeah, which means like this. Did anybody ever think about it? How in the world is it permitted? Yeah, how in the world is it permitted for us to come and do auctioning on Shabbat? Or when people come up to the Torah, they come and I ask them, "Nu ba'avushim inadev, how much are you going to donate?" And you're going to tell me, "Rabbi,
it's not
money, Shabbat."
More. It's no donation. It's asking.
Yeah, it's Shabbat. What's going on? Yeah. So here the Rama is coming to say, what? Yeah. So he says, "Haminhag le'akel." You're allowed to do tzedakah on Shabbat. You're allowed to be posek tzedakah on Shabbat. We're going to see later on in a Mishnah Brura an incredible custom. Anybody ever heard of a nedunya? You know what a nedunya is? Yeah. Nedunya is a dote, a dowry. So the nedunya, right? Well, the dot. Yeah. So what happens is, right, is how much are you going to give? So the Chatan used to give a dirasha on Seudah Shlishit. And until today, many places in the world, the Chatan, sometimes he won't even speak during Sheva Brachot. And then when he gets up, they'll quiet him down. And then he sits down again. He's not going to speak. Comes Seudah Shlishit and he gives a whole dirasha. Because of that dirasha, by the way, something very interesting. Do you know, Sheva Brachot, you always need panim hadashot. What are panim hadashot? You need 2 people, right, that were not there at the wedding. Yeah, that they weren't there at the wedding, or they were there at the wedding, but they weren't there at the Seudah. Yeah, so You have two people. They're new people. You're all happy that they're there. Chazak u'baruch. Okay. What happens now is as follows. Oh, fine. Yeah. So, yeah, he's coming and he says like this. Yeah. It comes right now on a Sheva Berachot, and we don't have Panim Chadashot. What do we do?
Don't say beracha.
Nobody understood the question.
What is the question?
One more time. I don't have Panim Chadashot.
No.
What do you do?
You go outside of the continue.
You get somebody from the outside. What is
No, you don't have.
So what do you do? Look right here, Sheva Berachot. There's no Panim Chadashot. We have the Chatan. We have the Chatan. He's going to get married to a second wife here. We were just looking for the Kala. Yeah, and now we need what? Huh? So what do you do? Yeah. Says the doctor, you do the first and last. Borei Pri Gefen and Asher Bara. Asher Bara, as long as you have three, you could say Asher Bara. Asher Bara is the long one. Right? Bracha Achrita. Right? The last one. You could do it. No problem. First and last, you cannot do Sheva Berachot. For Sheva Berachot, you need Panim Chadashot. Fine. On Shabbat, do you need Panim Chadashot?
No. That's a good question.
Yeah?
No.
Tomer says, no.
No.
What about Yom Tov? Do you need Panim Chadashot?
Yeah.
No. Chazak u'baruch. Tomer says, no. He's correct. So, not on Shabbat and not on Yom Tov. What about Seudah Shlishit? Seudah Shlishit, you need Panim Chadashot or not?
Still Shabbat.
Huh?
Still Shabbat.
So says Amram, still Shabbat. Says Amram, still Shabbat. Says Baba Haki,
What's it?
you need Panim Chadashot or not? You don't know. He doesn't know. He's honest. It's good. He says, I don't know. What do you say? Professor, what do you say?
I said already.
The what?
Still Shabbat.
It's still Shabbat. Yeah? What's the answer?
No.
You still need. Why? Says Maran, a very simple reason. Seudah Shlishit, even though lechatechila, you need to have bread. B'diavad, if you don't have bread, and let's say I'm going to have mezonot, so that's it. You're still going to be Tzed Chovah. So therefore, you still need Panim Chadashot for Seudah Shlishit. So therefore, if you want to say Sheva Berachot for Seudah Shlishit, you need Panim Chadashot. Says the Rama, we have a minhag that you always do Sheva Berachot for Seudah Shlishit. Says, you know why? Who's the Panim Chadashot? The Chatan is going to give a drasha. The Chatan is going to give a drasha during the Seudah Shlishit. So that Seudah, that drasha during Seudah Shlishit, that is the Panim Chadashot. That's why Ashkenazim, they will always be able to do it. For Sfaradim, you need Panim Chadashot. For Ashkenazim, the Chatan will make a drasha. So very interestingly enough, do you know that according to how the Chatan used to give his drasha, the father-in-law would come and say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to help you out. I'll give you, $50,000. I'm going to help you out. I'll give you $10,000. The other one, he was a spitz. He was professor, $100,000. The other one, vazio como el shofar, empty like the shofar, nada, wala, rien. Is that permitted or not? So we're going to speak about that as well. So let's continue. The question is, are you allowed to do money transactions on Shabbat or not? So let's see. Says the Magen Avraham. So again, one more time. On my Magen Avraham, on this side, says Magen Avraham, Mekach umemka, which is business. Echad bapeh, ve'echad b'mesira, asur. Doesn't matter whether it's going to be bapeh or whether it's going to be b'mesira, it's asur. So you're not allowed to do any business on Shabbat, correct? Some people, they want to go to a certain synagogue where purposely they're able to do business on Shabbat. So they come and they take out and they exchange business cards, right? And they make sure that everybody knows that I'm a real estate agent and the other one is going to be whatever it is for the, whatever it is for the loans, and the other one is going to get the insurance agents, and this one's going to give him the glasses to see what he's reading in the lease. Yeah, everyone. You have everybody there. Yeah, everybody there. Here, everyone's business cards. Here you have it. Yeah, some people, they do that. They go to synagogue. Yeah, you have the business card.
Yeah.
Just for that. Yeah, fine. Okay, no problem. Now he comes and he says like this. Says, why is it asur? The Rambam. The Rambam says, gezerah shema yichtov. Meaning, the entire reason why it's asur to do mekach memkar is only because maybe I'm going to write it down. Because if you really think about it, what's the isur? I've got a bottle of Coke. Yeah, I'm going to sell it to you. Yeah? What's the isur? And Shabbat, what's the isur?
The new ownership.
What's the new ownership? Where's it written that I'm not allowed to have new ownership? Yeah? What's schar? What's schar? What's mitzchar? Well, that's what we just mentioned. Why is mitzchar asur?
Transfer.
Mekach memkar, why is it asur? You know why it's asur? I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it down. So gezerah shema yichtov. It's a gezerah. Maybe I'm going to write it down. Why? When you want to come and take ownership of something, what happens? You take a title and you write it down. Why? Tomorrow I'm going to say it never happened. You say, no, but I bought it from you. Oh, never happened. You need to write something down. So gezerah shema, you're going to come and write it down. There's no money. There's no mekach memkar on Shabbat. Yeah, that's what the Rambam says. Katav et Yosef besiman tavkuf kav zayin teletzorech Shabbat shari. Right? He comes and he says, the Mordechai sover teasur liten davar mematana lechavero biyom tov veShabbat ela im ken letzorech mitzvah. Says the Mordechai, it's going to be prohibited for me to give something as a present to my friends unless it's going to be tzorech Shabbat and tzorech what? Mitzvah. Tzorech mitzvah or tzorech Shabbat. Then it's going to be permitted. So I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. This is for Felipe, right? Because he's very good at this. Yeah, I've got a lulav and etrog, and you don't have a lulav and etrog. And now you want to be Yotzei the Chovah with a lulav and etrog. What do we have to do? I have to give it to you. Now, how do I give it to you, though? So I just give it to you and that's it. I just say it's yours. So I have to give you a matana.
No.
So what's that? It's a matana.
But you have the condition to give it back.
Everyone just heard what he just said. He just said, right, and Abraham said it before, that you're going to give it to him as a present, al menat lachzir. Now the question is, al menat lachzir means on condition that you give it back to me. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah? Why do you have to give it to him as a present? Why can't I just lend it to him? I knew Philip was going to know. The pasuk says, ulkachtem lachem. What does lachem mean?
We own it.
For you. Meaning, it has to be yours. It cannot be anybody else's. So therefore, what happens? So what happens is, if I'm going to come and I'm going to lend it to Philip, he's not Yotzei the Chovah. The only way to Philip to fulfill his obligation is that if I give it to him as a present, then now it's his. Now, many times I'll do it as a present, but if not, I give it to him as a present. He looks at my Rav and etrog. He says, Rabbi, I've never had such a beautiful etrog in my life. Thank you. Hasta la vista. Yeah, we'll see you at the end of Sukkot. I'll give it back to you at Shemini Atzeret. Yeah? Or Shana Rabba, you'll give it back to me. So therefore, I can give it back to him as a matana al menat le'achzir, as a present on condition to give it back. But 1 second, but what am I actually doing? I'm giving him a present. When is this? Yom Tov. How's it mutar? Says the Mordechai, it's a mitzvah. And therefore, if it's going to be for tzorech mitzvah, is mutar. Just like the Shulchan Aruch says in Siv Zayin. We spoke about this on Pesach. How many grams of matzah do you have to eat for a kazait? How much? 52 grams.
28.
Yeah, 28 grams is what? Is one kazait of matzah. If I want to right now fulfill my kazait, how much do I have to? I'm going to weigh it. How much do I need? How much do I need to weigh?
Just say it.
He's wrong. That's why I told you.
Because okay.
28 grams is a kazait. But if you already paid attention, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, and many other poskim, they hold that when you're going to have 20 grams of weight, you have 28.8 grams of volume. And therefore, all I have to do is weigh 20 grams, and I have my kazait. And the reason why we said this, it's very, very important, is because some people, they come on Pesach, and they tell you, Rabbi, it's impossible, Pesach. Why is Pesach impossible? They come and they say, you know why? Because I have to eat matzot after matzot. I ask them, how much matzot are you eating? Well, we've got the big round matzot. I have to eat one for the one, another one for this, another one. You're like, Ribono Shel Olam, why are you having double the portions? He said, what are you talking about, Rabbi? Why? Kiddush cup. How big is your Kiddush cup? No, he's got the cup of Eliyahu Navi, right? And he's coming and he's got the huge thing and he's drinking each one. I'm like, that's why. You're not fulfilling the mitzvot because you're not doing it properly. If you would really know, if you would really understand how much is the quantities, you would say, wow, it's going to be a different, whatever you want. Yeah, he says, right, it's going to be a completely different story. So what happens, right? So he comes and he says as follows. Yeah, listen carefully. What I told you, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so what do we say? What? So what did we say? I don't know if you realize we said is that I want you to weigh it on Pesach to find out how much is 20 grams. Are you allowed to weigh on Pesach?
Yes. Yeah.
Chazak Baruch. If it's, as long as it's mechanical, obviously. If it's going to be mechanical, you're allowed to come and you're allowed to weigh for mitzvah. Where is that written? Yeah, listen, page 4. Mutar limdod b'Shabbat medida shel mitzvah. You're allowed to measure for Shabbat a medida of mitzvah. Kegon limdod im yesh b'mikveh 40 se'ah. There is talking about a mikveh to know if it's called 40 se'ah or not, right? For the women that have to come and to do tevilah b'mikveh or any other mitzvah. So anything which is a mitzvah, you're allowed to weigh and measure on Shabbat and Yom Tov. So therefore, you're allowed to take a mechanical scale.
It can only be done in that time frame.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we're talking about a mitzvah for that time.
I know.
Yeah. No. Obviously it means a mitzvah for now.
But it can only be.
Yeah, for that on Yom Tov and Shabbat. So for Shabbat. So for example, I have to find out does it have a mikveh, right? Or whatever the cases are. So he comes here, he says it's going to be mutar. So for example, I'm on the night of Pesach, right? I didn't prepare any kezatim. So I want to find out how much is a kezait. I have to eat one kezait for the sandwich, a kezait for the motzi matzah, or for the balabait, 2 lechatchila. You have to eat a kezait for the afikomen, or 2 lechatchila, right, is the best. So therefore, you measure it. Yeah? Which one?
What's the problem with on Shabbat? If not for Mizrah.
No, because you're not allowed to measure anything on Shabbat. Measuring on Shabbat is an isur. Measuring for a mitzvah is permitted.
If I take a ruler and I measure something, it's asur.
Isur. A ruler is a kli shevarto isur.
Okay, so it's coming from a muktzeh.
Yeah. But why is it muktzeh? Because it's asur. So that means the isur is going to be anything that you're doing of measuring, which has to do with cutting, putting things to medida. Do you know that even Rav Elyashiv, he wants to say that you're not allowed to cut. For example, paper towel or things like that. On one of the reasons is mechatech, you're cutting, but another one is also you're cutting lemida, lefi midah, for measures, meaning that there's a measure for everything. That's why you have to be careful. I don't want to measure. I'm berech, whatever it is. Again, again, if there's no measure, you do whatever you want. Taking measures is sur on Shabbat. I cannot come on Shabbat, take the measure thing, tell you this table is 8 feet and it's 80 centimeters tall, and I'm not allowed to do that on Shabbat. Now again, for a mitzvah, I'm allowed to.
If I don't have a ruler, if I just do it with my head like this and I measure
anything in your head, you're always allowed to do. You could think about business in your head. You could do whatever you want. Hirurim mutarim. It's a pasuk, right? We sing it.
I'm just saying if I use my hand as I know this is 30 centimeters, then I go like this. Also,
that probably is false.
Is the measure?
No, the problem is the measuring. You're not allowed to measure. You're not allowed to measure. Not allowed to measure. You're not allowed to measure. The only thing you're allowed to measure is for a mitzvah. So therefore, here, since it's sorech mitzvah, you're allowed to measure. Okay. Fine. So until here, we have the Mishnah Brura. If you want, let me just check this. Here it is. Oh, sorry. I'll just give you the other cases. He says, right, Velimdod ezor mishu chole, right? Or, right, that's also going to become a tzorech mitzvah. Okay? Now he comes and he says like this. Here he says that it's the reason of the Isur of Medidah is Uvadim Dechol, which means that you're doing a weekday, how do you call this? A weekday act. Yeah, a weekday act. Okay? Okay? Fine. So now like this. So what happens is now as follows. Yeah, you've got the Magen Avraham. Magen Avraham tells you that if it's going to be Tzorech Shabbat Mutar or Tzorech Mitzvah. So he says, Upashut, right? He comes and he says, yeah, Elim Ken Tzorech Mitzvah, Pashut el Tzorech Shabbat Shari. Where does this come from? From the Rambam. The Rambam is on page 5. Look at page 5. Page 5, the Rambam comes and he says, by Halacha Yud Bet, Asul lilvot velehalvot gezerah shem yichtov. You're not allowed to lend out money on Shabbat or to borrow money on Shabbat. Why? Gezerah shem yichtov. Maybe you're going to write it, right? We're going to speak about, or actually I don't know if we're going to have time, but there's a question even about lending out objects. Do we have even a doubt? Is there any sort of lending out an object, right? Because again, maybe somebody will come afterwards. He's going to write it down. You know how many times people, they borrow things, they never give it back. So you have to write it down, right? And that's what happens. Many times, which one? Exactly. So then that's question. Many times it happens. So he says, right? You're not allowed to do all these things. Why? Shema Yichtov. Everybody heard? Shema Yichtov. Huh? Maybe you're going to write it. Yeah? Okay? Fine. The next. The Bet Yosef. The Bet Yosef comes on page 6. And the Bet Yosef says as follows. Right? The Mordechai comes and he writes, right? Hitil laknoto biyomto mishum mitzvah v'chelula v'etrog yotzim ha'em kol al yedei matana melan lachzir udkavate konim mishchiv mera v'afilu b'shabbat. The same halacha would apply to a shchiv mera. A shchiv mera. Shchiv mera is somebody that he is sick in bed, on his deathbed. That's why shachiv is lying down. Shchiva, mera. Mera means he's not doing well. Yeah? So the shchiv mera, imagine right now he comes and he starts telling you that he wants to give out his properties. And it's Shabbat afternoon, coming towards Motzei Shabbat, and now you have a problem. How do you do it? How do you get the properties over? So they could actually do a kinyan, right? They're konim mishchiv mera v'afilu b'Shabbat, right? Fine. Then he continues and he starts saying, right? My litzavi kinyan sudar. So he comes and he starts asking the different things about when it's going to be permitted or not. And that's also the Mordechai on page 7. If you look on page 7 on the left side, you have over there where it says, Hetiru lakno biyom tov mishum mitzvah v'chelula v'etrog, also. Yeah? V'afilu b'Shabbat. So you've got the concept of mitzvah, or if it's going to be for Shabbat. The Bet Meir argues on the Magen Avraham. And the Bet Meir comes and he says, there's no Isur of Matana on Shabbat. It's only an Isur of Mekach u'Memkar. Matana is an extended Isur, and therefore there's no prohibition to give a present to someone else. Right? And that's also the Avodat HaGershuni on page Pehe. If you look over there, he says, Mikom Makom Kushta Deminta Ladamya Matana Lemekach u'Memkar. You cannot compare business to a present. So he says, because B'Sham Matana lo mekabel mideh, v'gam enenu maskir ma shekibel mimenu kvar, im yekabel od rak lashon matana. Meaning like this. When you come and you have a transaction, many times I'm going to suspect that you're going to write it down. Why? I gave you A, and you're giving me in return B. There's much more room to start suspecting that what? You're going to write it down. A present, I gave you something. What am I going to write down? Did I give you a present? What? Yeah? What's a...
You can use the sticker of Laurent. You don't have to write down.
Which one? Exactly. Gifts are completely different. Gifts are much different than any other thing. And by the way, you should know, even in secular law and even in halacha, gifts are different. Gifts are always going to be different. I'll give you an example, right? 100%. That's true. 100%. But only if you... The shul is different because it's a Ekdesh. That's something else. Remember, Yad Ekdesh is always Al Elionah, right? They always have the upper hand. Yeah, the question that we're going to ask ourselves is, for example, I'll give you an example. Yeah, if right now, right, I give you a gift of $100, do you have to give maaser?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. What happens if I give you this sefer, and the sefer is a value of $100? Do you have to give maaser?
No.
No. So do you realize there's going to be a difference, that the minhag was to be mekel, that anything which is going to be a gift, you do not have to give maaser, other than money, because money in effect is not really like a gift. It's like you made income. The only time when we say that on money you do not have to give maaser is, for example, if I tell you you have to spend it for this. So for example, if I'm going to give you $100 and I tell you, buy this for yourself or buy this for your kid, right? Or buy whatever it is that you're giving. In such a case where I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you, buy this, so therefore what happens is I'm not giving you money, because that's not really money. Money means I got $100, I can do whatever I want with it. When your parents come and they give you, here's $500, buy yourself the couch that you needed, right? Or here's $1,000, use it for the rent that you needed to pay, or the mortgage, whatever it is. When they do that, that's not considered a real gift, in the fact that it was segregated for a certain cause, and therefore you don't have to give maaser. So there's going to be a difference between a gift, a matana, and a transaction. Because of that, right, is very, very interesting. Look at the Mishnah Brura. The Mishnah Brura is on page 11. Let's see how the Mishnah Brura is going to be posek, and then we're going to see what does Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach write about it. What? Shulchan Aruch does not speak about presents. Doesn't speak about presents. We have a Magen Avraham. It started from the Magen Avraham. It doesn't start from the Bet Yosef. Yeah, the meaning the Bet Yosef just said he was going back and forth to do. He brought down this Mordechai, but he didn't actually say, right? He just says, so he comes and he says, he doesn't actually say anything. But he doesn't, the Shulchan Aruch does not actually speak about it. So look in the Mishnah Brura. I'm on Mishnah Brura Lamed Gimel, where it's talking about Lifsok Tzedakah. Yeah, over there, we're talking about, which one?
Where are you?
No. I'm on page 11. Page 11. There it says that the minhag, yeah, it says here, יש אומרים דבמקום שנוהגים ליתן לקורא בתורה מי שברך ונודע לצדקה ולחזן, דאסור בשבת לפסוק, והמנהג להקל, תהא מותר לפסוק צדקה. The minhag once upon a time used to be that people used to give the donations, and when they used to give the donations, the donation would go to the Bal Koreh or the Chazan. And that was his maskoret. Meaning,
they do that.
In Israel, yeah, they do that until today. Okay. Once upon a time, they used to do that in Gibraltar as well, right? Until one time it happened that the Chazan, he counted how much money he had. He got all upset. He went out and he threw it at them. And he said, so from then on, they made it afterwards a maskoret, right? They made it a true salary. But that was a minhag. A lot of it, they used to come and be noder, and he used to go to the Bal Koreh, the Chazan. Yeah, okay, fine. Says the Ramah, mutar, you're allowed to do that. Yeah, fine. Says the Mishnah Brura, in the middle where it's gray. Yeah, everybody has it where it's gray. Vine, mekach umemkar. When we're talking about mekach umemkar, echad bapeh ve'echad b'mesira asur. Anything to do with business is asur. Gezerah sham ya'ivo lichtov. Maybe you're going to write it down. Ve'gam asur litem matana lechavero. You're also not allowed to. You're permitted to give a matana to your friend. Says why? Because it's coming out of your possession. It's coming out of your reshut. So he says, but for a matana, it's going to be mutar when it's going to be for tzorech Shabbat or Yom Tov, as is brought down in Shin Kav Gimel Zayin. What's written in Shin Kav Gimel Zayin? Right? Listen to this. He comes and he says like this: Mutar le'atbil kli chadash hataun tevilah v'yesh osrim. I've got a problem. I need to do tevilat keli on a utensil. So imagine right now I've got a utensil, a fork. Yeah, I need to do tevilat kelim. Everyone knows what tevilat kelim is? Yeah, very good. I need to do tevilat kelim. It's Shabbat. How am I going to do tevilat kelim? I can't do tevilat kelim on Shabbat. Yeah, so what do? I give it to a goy b'matana. Which one? Why? Oh, okay, fine. So it's in you're giving it to the goy, but here it's worse because here you can't even do it, even if you have the mikveh right in front of you. You have the sea right in front of you. You have the mikveh kelim right in front of you. You're not allowed to do it because of tikkun kli, right? You're fixing the utensil by putting in the mikveh. So what happens? It's Shabbat. Now I want to use it. I need to use it. How am I going to do it? You know what you do? You come, you get the goy, here's a present. Yeah, he's going to tell you, thank you so much. Said, by the way, can I use it? Can I borrow it from you? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure he's going to tell you yes. So he gives it. So now you're allowed to use it. Yeah, why? Because you only borrowed it from the goy. Right? You borrowed it from the goy. If you borrow it from the goy, you're allowed to. No problem.
What do you do afterwards?
With what?
Back to him and then you're like, okay, I'm taking back my gift? Or
No, you have to actually either tell him that you want to, or you give him money and you want to buy it back from him. 100%. Or it's always his. It's always his. Sometimes it's always his. We've done that in the past here, right? Make sure that you have to write it off. It's not, no, some of the, how do you call this thing? That, for example, for the egg cookers or certain things like that, if you can't do tevilat kelim, so for example, or if it's a very, very heavy utensil, right? And you can't do the tevilat kelim on it. So what we would do is we would give it as a present to the goy and then it's theirs. And technically, it's always theirs. And then whenever they want, they could just pick it up and take it off. They could take it off.
But you're allowed to do it sometimes when you really can.
Yeah. 100%. The reason why we were mekel there is because there's an added svara. There's a chelkat yuav that Rabbi Weberman Senior would rely upon it lechatchila, but we would never do it lechatchila. He would rely upon it lechatchila, that anything which is connected to the sheka, to the source, it's connected to the ground. So therefore, you don't need to do tevilat kelim. So therefore, a toaster oven, an urn, all those things, he would say, you don't need to do tevilat kelim. We don't rely upon that lechatchila, but to do with this, by giving it to a goy and then doing this, so then, because mimanasha, it could be that you don't need to do tevilat kelim at all. And then we're going to give it to a goy as a present, and then you're just borrowing it from him. So kilu, you're using two kulot together, that we would say yes. But not by itself, that just it's connected to the ground kilu because you put a plug. Putting a plug in itself is not really connected to the ground. Okay, it's connected to the ground kilu. What happens if you have the plug in the roof? Yeah, okay. But again, it's just it's a concept. But anyway, it's a halacha. Fine. So he says, you see from here that you are allowed to give a present on Shabbat for tzorech mitzvah, right? When you need it. So he comes and he says, right? וכן לצורך מצווה, וכן אסור ליתן משכון לחברו, אלא אם כן הוא לצורך מצווה, לצורך שבת. The same halacha would apply to giving a deposit. I cannot give you a deposit on Shabbat. So imagine right now somebody wants to borrow a sefer. And really, borrowing a sefer here is very problematic because half the sefarim are not here. So therefore, I would want to come and would say, give me your watch. So that's called a mashkon. It's called collateral. I cannot do that on Shabbat unless it's tzorech mitzvah, right? Unless it's going to be tzorech mitzvah. So you're not allowed to. So then he comes and he says, right?
How did you become a mitzvah?
One second, for whatever you would need it, for whatever it is. Yeah, shiur or whatever it is. וכתב עוד, דלפי מה שנהגו ליתן כלים במתנה לחתן הדורש, אינו נכון. Right? מי הוא מה שמחייבים קצת ליתן לו דמים, אפשר דשארי, כיוון דבידו לחזור. Meaning like this. Imagine right now, it comes on Shabbat, and we hear the chatan is doresh, and the chatan says, what a beautiful drasha. So what do? I come and we're going to say, you know what, here's a present, here's a bowl, a new bowl for your house. Or here's a bowl, a vase, a bowl, whatever it is. Or I'm going to give you something for the house. Or I'm going to give you all these things. So therefore, it's not good. Why? Because you're not allowed to give a present. However, though, right? What?
According to the Magen Avraham?
No, Magen Avraham, you're not allowed to.
Who said yes?
The what's his name? The Avodat HaGershoni and the Bet Minim said yes. So listen now, meaning Mishnah Bras posek that you're not allowed to give presents, correct? You're not allowed to give presents. Says the Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, אולם בעיקר הדבר הנתמי מתפלא על זה שהמשנה ברורה לא מצא לנכון להביא דעת הבית מאיר שגם הובא בפתחי תשובה שחולק על המגן אברהם. And he says, תדווקא להקנות בקניין סודר או לעשות מעשה קניין של הגבהה משיכה בכוונה מסוימת, זה אסור. אבל סתם נתינה כרגיל לא אכפת לנו. He says like this, if I'm going to come and I'm going to go on Shabbat and I'm going to do like this, I'm doing a kinyan like this, I'm doing like that, or meshicha, I'm pushing it, so then maybe I'm going to say it's going to be asur. But if I'm just going to come take and I give it to him like that, that's not asur. So Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says, I don't understand why the Mishnah Berurah does not even bring down the Bet Meir that argues on the Magen Avraham and that you should be permitted to give a present, right? So therefore, he just leaves it like Tzarich Yun. He doesn't understand. He says, I don't know. Yeah, why? It should be permitted, really. Fine. If you look in the Orchot Shabbat or in this Sefer of Maaseh Shabbat, I'll read to you first from the Maaseh Shabbat. Maaseh Shabbat is the grandson of Rav Ovadia Yosef. The Orchot Shabbat is Rav Mordechai Rubin. Right, Rav Rubin is the rabbi of the Rav Rashi of the rabbi of the city of Harnof. Okay, is the Ashkenazi rabbi, and the Sfaradi rabbi, right, was Rav Yosef. And here, now his grandson of Rav Ovadia Yosef wrote the Sefer, which is based upon it, and they both say it's asur to give matanot on Shabbat other than tzorech mitzvah or tzorech Shabbat. Yeah, so now the question is going to be, okay, what's going to happen now, right, in different cases? So, for example, right, whether it's going to be frashat chala, frashat trumot u'masrot, bitul chametz, all these things. Yeah, which one? Shabbat and Yom Tov the same thing. Yeah, Shabbat and Yom Tov the same thing.
The need of the day can.
For the need of the day. So listen to this. So he comes and he says like this, right? There's a very interesting halakha. I want to give you a present on Shabbat. How do I do it? Huh? So I give it to you before Shabbat. I'm not going to see you before Shabbat. So what do I do? אתה מקנה את זה to the person. What is מקנה את זה? I acquire it that he's the owner. Why? זכין לאדם שלא בפניו. I'm going to give the zechut to somebody, right? Even though he's not here. So if I'm right now going to give this as a present, right? To, let's say, for example, who's not here? Yeah, Mr. So-and-so, whoever his name is. Yeah, he's not here. So I come and I tell him, Michai, pick this up. And by Michai picking it up, he's going to acquire it for Mr. X. That's called, I'm being makneh, that now it belongs to Mr. X. Meaning, even if I wanted to retract it, I can't. Why? Because he already had the kinyan for him. Before Shabbat. Even if he doesn't know. Why? Zachin le'adam shelo befanav. Now that's only if it's going to be a zechut. What happens if it's a chova? What that means a chova? Meaning, by me giving it to him, now all of a sudden he's going to have to pay millions extra in taxes. So it was bad that he got it. So it wasn't even good. There we don't say zachin le'adam shelo befanav. Because en chavin le'adam shelo befanav. That's a chov. That's something bad. It's not something positive. So therefore it doesn't work. So for example, right, the rabbis come and they say, this happens all the time. For myself, every single Erev, whether it's going to be Erev Pesach, right? This year was Erev Pesach. I drove Laurent crazy. He didn't understand why, right? No, I always drive him crazy, but this especially. I went and I told him, Laurent, where are you? Right? So he comes and he tells me, wherever it is, I tell him, on your way back home, before you go home, make sure you stop by my house. So, okay, fine. Stops by my house. He calls me up. I come out. I have a box of matzah, right? And an egg. And I give it to him. And I tell him, I'm being makneh lecha. I'm acquiring to you the matzah and the egg for the entire city. Why? He says, the Shulchan Aruch Siman Shin Samech Vav, the Rishonim נחלקו אם אפשר לזכות עירוב על ידי בינו וביתו הגדולים הסומכים על שולחנו על ידי אשתו, ולכן הבא לזכות מתנה לאחר כל השבת, צריך לזכותה על ידי אדם אחר. If you want to come and you want to give it to somebody else, you know what you have to do it? You have to do it through a third party. So that means like this. I want to give a present to Eitan on Shabbat. I cannot just come out of Shabbat and say, there's a present, this is Eitan's. It doesn't work. Why? A lot of opinions hold. I cannot do it myself. You need another party that you have the dat of the makneh and the koneh, the one that's giving and the one that's receiving. Now he's the shaliach of the receiver. And he, as long as it's good for the receiver, he's acquiring for it. So therefore he's going to come and he's going to pick it up. If it's going to be my own children, that they're being supported by me or by my own wife, it doesn't work. So therefore what you have to do is you have to go to a third party. So I had to get Laurent to come. He's doing it for everybody. Now it belongs to everybody. Doesn't know that. And now that they do the kinyan, now I'm able to make the bracha. And I say that it's going to be for the entire city. Kapish? Everybody's with me or not? Yeah? Very important halachot, right? Next. What happens right now? You did not do the zikui mibeod yom. They didn't do it, mibeod yom. They didn't do it. All of a sudden comes Shabbat, they give you a present. So what happens? So number one, what you're allowed to do is to say, I don't want to be zochenet until Motzei Shabbat. I don't want to be zocher until Motzei Shabbat. So this once happened that somebody brought me a sefer on Shabbat. And I looked at the sefer and I said, wow, what a beautiful sefer. Ah, Rabbi, you like it? Yes. Keep it. It's yours. I say, okay, but I'm putting it here. But I'm not acquiring it until Motzei Shabbat. Why? Because I'm not allowed to. So therefore, I didn't do anything. I could always learn in the sefer itself. You're saying you're learning with it, so you say that it's tzorech mitzvah. Yeah. It's not tzorech mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah that it belongs to me. No, it belongs to you, and it's still a mitzvah. If it belongs to you, belongs to him, it's not tzorech mitzvah. I can't call that tzorech mitzvah. No, it's not. I could learn from your sefer. It doesn't have to be my sefer. It has to be my sefer. מה? זה עבירה? זה נחשב עבירה? ודאי. אם אסור לך לתת מתנה, אז אסור לי לקנות. אז רגע, אז שניהם בעבירה? The one that gave the present just was over in his suit, and also the one that received. Right? Now, what happens though?
That receive, he doesn't do anything, he puts it aside, and that's it.
And he says, I'm not acquiring it until Motzei Shabbat. Then he's okay. The same halacha would apply if right now he knows, right? He says the person didn't know. Right? He didn't know. So what's going to happen? The same thing. He's mechaven lo lezakot. So the person that brought me on Pesach, the flowers, right? We just put it on the side, and we had in mind, we're not acquiring it until after Yom Tov. Why?
You had to throw it out.
No, it was still good for another 2-3 days. No, another 2-3 days afterwards, it was good. It wasn't the dollar store ones. Yeah, it was another 2-3 days afterwards, fine. Right? So therefore what? You're not acquiring it. But you know why? Because it could happen. The guy doesn't know the halacha. So the guy comes, he brings it to your house. What are you going to do? You understand? What are you going to do? So fine. I'm not acquiring it until afterwards.
What if it's perishable?
Very good. Says as follows. What about divrei ma'achal? What about food? Right? So he comes and he says you're allowed to give food on Shabbat. And even if it's going to be al minat lesamcho, to make him happy, and he's not even going to use it. But you're allowed. It's mutar. Why? He says because in such a case, he says pshita litano b'Shabbat is going to be mutar because that's tzorech Shabbat. Tzorech Shabbat is going to be permitted. So therefore, that's why he says that you're allowed to give matanot b'Yom Tov mishum simchat Yom Tov. So the same halacha applies also to Shabbat. And therefore, he comes and he says, but it could only be perishables. It cannot be a keli. It cannot be bigadim, right? It cannot be anything else. Meaning, even if I need it on Shabbat, and it's a challah board, or a challah cover, no. It has to be something that I'm able to eat, right? It cannot be something which is not perishable. It has to be 100%. Which one? Wine is not a problem. Allowed to bring it. Give him wine. Whoever told you yain is a problem? No. Again, one more time. The fact that I could use it for Shabbat and it's a food which is tzorech Shabbat, I don't even have to open it. Which one? Because prachim no. Because that's what we just said. We said that anything which is not perishable was not. Now the reason why is because there was a special heter that was anything to do with food was always going to be considered that it wasn't a real present. Because it's not a present. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I don't know if any. Okay, let me just see. No, okay, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, you don't know how many times it's happened to me. When you want to bring a present to someone, what do you bring them? Something that what? That you like or what they like? Huh? Now you like or what they like? I want one more time. Let me ask the question properly. You want to bring a present. You're going to bring a present. Something that what you like, what they like. They like. So what's that a present for me?
That was not.
So what am I like? Okay, sorry.
Why would you bring one?
So what happened? You don't know how many times it's happened. Right? They come and they bring me the mutar. Right? I've never eaten in my life, and I will never eat a blina in my life. So what are you bringing it for? You're going to bring it to me. I come, they bring me a whiskey. This was the first time. My wife goes to me, open it up. And I'm like, we're in the middle of the meal. What a whiskey. She goes, open it up. I said, okay, fine. Remember, Isha gozeret, abal mekayem. She says something, that's it. I come, I open it up. He went and he finished half the bottle. Yeah? I'm like, what? In the middle of the meal, that was his drink.
Go home
yeah, he was drinking. No, he went home. He doesn't live that far away. He's fine. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what happened? They come, and by the way, you should know it's happened. They come. He's gonna bring me white wine, rosé. I was gonna tell him, Aywa, you've been in the Kila for 13 years. You don't know I don't like wine. Well, it's for him. It's not for me. So therefore, it's really behemet that it's not even considered. So, Which means that you see from here that the entire concept of food is not really a present. It's part of the meal. You're participating in the meal. Just like I could come and I could bring you a salad from my house, and nobody's going to say, oh, you brought me a present. Thank you very much. So therefore, anything that is to do with foods and drinks, there's no problem. But if it's going to be Tzorech Shabbat, that's a present. Even if I'm using it for Shabbat. I'm going to come and I'm going to have a challah board. It's Tzorech Shabbat. I only use a challah board on Shabbat. Yeah, but that's not what we spoke about. But that's a present. The present was a sur. The perishables, which means the food and the drinks, are going to be permitted. We see this also, right? In 1 second. He comes and he says the same thing we see by the Nezer HaChaim. Look in the Nezer HaChaim. He came and he asked, right? He comes and he says in page 15 in the middle, can you give him a present, but for sure he'll use it on Shabbat? It's going to be a wine opener, right? They broke my wine opener. They're going to bring me one on Shabbat. Says no. Tshuvat vadai shasur. What? Uvdavar sheletzorech haShabbat yesh machloket. He says if it's going to be tzorech haShabbat, right? It's going to be a machloket. He says, therefore he says, for sure. What do you think? Yeah, so therefore he says like that. Look in the next one page, Yalkut Yosef, page 16, Yalkut Yosef. Guys, quickly, page 16. Yalkut Yosef, Ra'ui v'nachon, shelo latem matana b'Shabbat. Did you realize that he said it's fitting not to give the present on Shabbat? Why? Sheyesh omrim shadvar asur mishum davim ekach umemkar, ve'av sheyesh cholkim bazeh. People argue. He says, "הרוצה ליתן איזה מתנה בשבת הוא יום טוב, שנכון שיזכה את המתנה לחברו בין שבת לידי אחר, ואז מותר ליתנה בשבת, אם אין עליה תורה מוקצה." He says, if there's no muktzeh, what do? Acquire it beforehand. You acquire it to somebody else beforehand. I'm going to give it to you, Philip. Pick it up. You're doing it for Balahaki. Pick it up. You do it. That's it. That's what you do also before Shabbat. And that's what you also do for the Bachura Bar Mitzvah. The Bar Mitzvah present, you do the same thing. By the way, I will mention 1 minute. Because now on Shabbat I'm giving it to him.
So the same.
Yeah, the person that's giving it to him. One more time. What?
If I'm not allowed and I give it to you to give it to him, so you're not allowed to give it to him?
No, you're not giving it to me for me to give it to him. You're giving it to me to acquire it for him. Now it's his. Now you're going to take it back. You're going to take it back and you're going to give it to him on Shabbat. That you're going to tell him, but it's already yours.
Even if he doesn't know.
Even if it doesn't know, it's already his. It's his. Now, but
Can be good.
which one?
Can do to be good.
No, it has to be a Jew. But listen carefully, right? Listen carefully, right? The reason why is because how does a goy acquire it for somebody else? There's machlok. What do you think on bechirat chametz? It's all the balagan. Because how does a goy acquire anything? So you have to do every single type of sale transaction and for every form of acquisition possible to make sure that the goy acquires your chametz. But there's a machloket. What type of acquisitions help for a goy? So don't use a goy, but use a Jew. But listen carefully. This is a very big mistake. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to give you a glass bottle. I'm going to give it to you. Do you have to do tevilat kelim?
Yes, glass.
Yeah, glass. You have to do tevilat kelim with the bracha.
Without the bracha.
בטח שכן.
Without the bracha.
With the bracha. Glass, even though it's the Rabbanan, with a bracha. Glass is with a bracha. Right? Guys, we're going through all of Shas here. We're going all the halachot of everything we do. Obviously, because metal is doraita. So do it on the doraita and then on the Rabbanan. But you for sure do it on bracha. Yeah. He said that do it on the metal and then you put in the thing. I said obviously because metal is doraita. The glass is the Rabbanan. But you always do a bracha also for the glass. You do a bracha on the glass. China no, because China is earthenware. Earthenware you don't have to do tevilat kelim at all. But since it's glass glazed, you do it without a bracha. Glass glazed. ציפוי זכוכית.
לא,
China זה חרס. חרס לא צריך. Right? So one more time. What happens now is as follows. I come and I'm going to have a glass. I'm going to give it to you. Do you have to do tevilat kelim, yes or no? Yes. What happens if I do the tevilat kelim for you?
You can.
what do you mean you can?
You can.
You cannot.
John Jack is right. You cannot do.
But
Well, we have bracha achrona still.
because it's cold.
Yeah, he's cold.
It's
We're boiling here.
It's always cold.
Me'esha Torah, we're boiling here, I'm melting. Yeah?
Melting. That's right.
You want another jacket? Simon, you want another jacket? We'll give you another jacket.
Another jacket.
Somebody has a scarf over there, please?
That's right. Give us Tali.
1 minute. So what happens is as follows. The question one more time. I come, can I do Tevilat Kelim for this guy? I'm giving him a glass bottle. Can I do Tevilat Kelim for him? Said John Jack, no.
Yeah.
Why not? Because the second that I gave him, when I did Tevilat Kelim, it wasn't for me. So therefore, I wasn't chayav in Tevilat Kelim. It doesn't belong to me. And if I'm going to come and give it to him, so now even though I did the Tevilat Kelim, he has to do it again. The only way to get out of that problem is the same thing. I'm going to acquire it for him, and now it's his. When it's his, so this I actually did. I remember I was already a 15-year-old or so. No, let's say 16. 16-year-old. 16-year-old. I went to my aunt's house. We were going for Pesach, the night of Pesach. And what we did was we brought her a nice dish, a new dish for the Seder plate or whatever it was. It was made out of glass. We gave it to her. And then we went, and when we gave it to her and she already picks it up, we said, by the way, we're going to the Tevilat Kelim mikveh. Would you like us to take it for you? Yeah, for sure. Now would they give it back? It has to be hers first, because now that you're being her shaliach to do Tevilat Kelim, it's fine. You cannot bring it to her tavul, because when it's yours, you're not chayav in Tevilat Kelim. It's not yours. You bought it, right, for somebody else. So you have to make a kinyan that it's theirs. Once it's theirs.
I give an old plate. I have a plate in my house. I did Tevilat Kelim at that time. And I give it to my daughter.
No. It didn't come from a goy. Here we're talking about a new one.
So
the new one, no, but I never wanted it for me. You're right. If I from the beginning wanted it for me, and then I changed my mind and I give it to you, you're right. But here from the beginning, I bought it as a present. If I bought it as a present, it was never mine. So if I do Tevilat Kelim, it wasn't a good Tevilat Kelim. So I have to give it to you, that you acquire it. Now that it's yours, and now I'm going to do it as a your shaliach. Now it works. So therefore, what happens is he comes and he says, what?
A second. I'm going to the store, I'm invited to you, and I'm buying a nice, beautiful plate that I want to do. I know that I'm buying it for you, so I'm acquiring it for you.
You're not acquiring it for me unless you're going to give it to somebody else. That's what we just said. If I buy it for you, you bought it for me. 2 minutes later, you come out, right? And I don't know what happened. Can you retract? Yes, it's not mine. If you give it to me, it means that you can't retract even if you wanted to. If it's mine, it's mine. You have the action. It has to be, you can give it to you, not to Jonathan.
Somebody, I buy it.
And you give it to somebody else to acquire it, then yes. Because somebody else acquired it for me. And then you could do it. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to finish. What? It's not enough. Yeah, so you have to do acquisition. We're just finishing. Last thing, one more time. Sikum, summary. I apologize that we weren't able to get to the second part of the shiur. The second part of the shiur was Shalom Aleichem, that we were going to go through all of the Shalom Aleichem. Tzedchem LeShalom. Should you say it? Not say it? Why do you say it? Why don't you say it? The Baruchuli LeShalom. Going through this. Where did the minhag come from? Blina, that will be next week, you said? Next Thursday. So Blina, next Thursday night, right? And we'll also hopefully have a barbecue as well.
Older stories.
In Maryland.
Okay. So hopefully we'll also have a barbecue next week as well. I just threw it on somebody, but it's okay. Right? And then Bezrat Hashem, right? We'll go through that shiur next week. But I'll just give you a sikum. So one more time. We did find that there's going to be a machloket between the Achronim. Are you allowed to give a present on Shabbat and Yom Tov or not? We still said that Mishnah said no, or Chot Shabbat, Maaseh Shabbat. Even the Yalkut Yosef said that it's better not to, that you should not give a present on Shabbat. But now I want to give it. How do I give it? So there's going to be 3 ways getting out of it. Number 1, I make a kinyan before Shabbat to somebody else. Number 2, if the person already gave it to you, you're going to say, I'm not going to acquire it until after Shabbat. And number 3, you could also make a condition that you could be choser until Motzei Shabbat. That's a third way of doing it. That basically what I could do is I'm going to give it, like for example, I gave him this as a present. But now I come and say, okay, but 1 second, how do I give it? So you say, you know what? There's one condition. I could retract all of Shabbat. By the fact that I could retract all of Shabbat, it's not 100% yours. So it's not 100% yours. I got out of the problem that I gave it a present. So those are 3 ways to get out of the problem. Again, the easiest way is just don't give it on Shabbat, or you acquire it to a third party before Shabbat. As long as you always acquire it to a third party before Shabbat, you could lechatchila come and give it to him on Shabbat. Just make sure that you tell him, no, right? You have to tell him, because if not, then it's I think that the guy's an amaretz and giving me something on Shabbat. In a sense,
His name, אני מקנה לאיש.
yeah, to the third person, of course.
השם של הבן אדם.
No, but you have to give it to somebody else to make a kinyan. Somebody else has to do the kinyan. Not mentioning his name is a chulatov. You could always say, you'll mention his name for good, but it doesn't do any kinyan. Nothing happens. Okay? Baruch Adonai le'olam.